Hello people, welcome to the channel Free Management Education, and today we will discuss about the industrial conflicts and its settlement, and this is the third and last part of the series. Here we will discuss about the type of strikes. We will discuss all of them: the picketing and gheraos, lockouts, labor welfare, bipartite and tripartite bodies, and standing orders. Okay. So now the definition of strike first. It can be understood as a curtailment of work, that is stopping of work due to collective refusal of workers to work. That is, workers are refusing to work until and unless their employee grievances are addressed, okay, are solved. That is, it involves dropping out of work by any number of workers employed in a particular industry with an aim of creating pressure on the employers to accept their demands relating to pay scale, working conditions, trade practices, and so forth. Okay. So types of strike are economic strike first. Okay. So it is the cessation of work. Cessation of work, it means stopping of work, again like curtailment of work by the laborers with an aim of imposing their economic demands like wages and bonus. These types of strike are done for mainly wages and bonus. Okay. Here workers raise their voice to increase their pay, improve conditions, facilitate them with allowances, perquisites, and add-on benefits. Okay, it mainly relates to money. Okay, then comes stay away strike. Okay, so in this strike, workmen stay away from workplace. They do not come to the workplace. They organize rallies, demonstration, etc. Stay in strike or sit down strike. Okay. This type of strikes in which the employees come to the office as usual but take their seats but do not work. Okay. They will come to the office but they will not work. Okay. And also deny to leave the office premises when asked to do so. Okay. This is stay in strike or sit down. Then tools down or pin down or mouth shut strike. Okay, all one name. In this strike, the strikers lay down their tools in case of factory workers, lay down their pens in case of office workers, and shut their mouth in case of teachers. Now token or protest strike. It is a very short duration strike, and it is in the nature of signal for the danger ahead. Okay. Like in this strike, workers do not work for an hour or a day. Why is it said a signal for the danger? Because suppose in a factory the workers stop the work for few hours, then the management should be alerted because the workers had shop for few hours, and this has made substantial losses. This has incurred them substantial losses, and this made the management worry about the future if the workers stop their work for few days or even months, weeks, like that. Okay, so it is a token. It just gives the management a warning that if you do not solve our grievances, then we will go on a full-hearted strike. Okay? So this is just a token or protest strike. It is of very short duration and is in the nature of signal for the danger ahead. Now lightning or wildcat strike, this is very important. It is a strike action undertaken by workers without the union leadership's authorization. That is, this strike is done without any permission of union, okay, or support or approval. This is sometimes also termed as an unofficial industrial action. Okay. Now slow down or go slow strike. In this strike, the workers intentionally reduce their speed of work. Okay. Hunger strike, you know this already, when employees go on fasting. Okay. Sympathetic strike, it means a type of strike in which the workers of one department or unit or division or industry go on strike in support of the workers of another department. That is, they are showing their sympathy, okay, who are already on strike. Now work to rule or work to designation. In this strike, the strikers undertake the work according to rules or job description, no extra work. It happens sometimes that in office that you have to do some extra work, okay, more than what is prescribed in your job description. So here the strikers undertake the work, they will do the work but only as per the job description, not a single thing more than that. Then comes secondary strike, they are against a third party strike. Okay. Okay, now comes picketing. So it is an act of posting pickets or kind of posters like that, okay, and patrolling of the workmen in front of the premises of the employer. That is, you assemble, okay, assemble in front of their workplace or the home of the employer in order to prevent other co-workers from going inside and working. That is, you do not let other co-workers to go inside and work, and you also want other co-workers to support your cause, okay, and to also dissuade customers, that is discourage customers from doing business with the organization. The unionized workers who are involved in this picketing are also called are also called pickets. Boycotts, you already know boycott. We have all read history in class 8, 9, 10, and it is an act of voluntary and intentional abstention from using or buying a product like that. Okay, you know boycott. Then comes Gherav. It is a physical blockade of a target. That is, you are blocking the employer from entering or exiting their own place or any place like that. That is physically blockade of a target, either by encirclement. That is that is what the name Gherav comes from. You are just encircling the you have cornered the employer from all sides, okay, so that he or she cannot enter or exit from that place. Cannot exit from that place. Okay? It is intended to block the regress and ingress. That is enter and exit basically from and to a particular place, office, workshop, like that. Now lockouts, like strikes, strikes is the weapon for the employees, but lockouts is the weapon for the employers. That is suspension of work by the employer. Here lockout means closing of a place of business, of employment, or the suspension of work, or the refusal by an employer to continue to employ any number of persons employed by him. Okay? This is the weapon of the employer. It is the counterpart of a strike. Just the employer have a weapon in their hands to put pressure, like the employees have a weapon in their hands to put pressure on the employer by going on strike. So also employer has a weapon against the employees to lock out his premises and do not allow the workers to come into work. Okay, so this is a lockout. The following does not constitute lockout. Just know this. Okay. Prohibiting an individual employee, termination of employment, okay, by retrenchment, termination of services of more than one person at the same time, declaration of lockout by an employer merely on the ground that workmen have refrained from attending from work. So suppose this happens mainly in holidays, the like Puja holidays, and in Bengal there is the Great Durga Puja, where even some companies also mainly most of the companies call their workers to come and work on Puja holidays. So sometimes the workman does not want to come on those days. So that is not a lockout. That is not a lockout. Okay, declaration of lockout by an employer merely on the ground that the workmen have refrained from attending to work. Okay, labor welfare officer and its functions, his functions. The section 49(1) and 2 of the Factories Act 1948 specified that every factory wherein 500 or more workers are ordinarily employed, one welfare officer must be appointed. Where the number of workers are in excess of 2500, the assistant or additional welfare officers are required to be appointed to assist the welfare officer. So that is, when there are 500 or more workers, then one welfare officer should be there, and if there are over 2500 workers, then there should be assistant or additional welfare officers to assist the welfare officer should be there. Functions of the welfare officer is supervision of safety, healthy program like housing, redressal of grievances, counseling of workers in personal and family problems, okay, helping them adjust their and understand their rights and privileges, advising the management in matters of formulating labor and welfare policies, apprenticeship and training programs, workers education, establish close cooperation relation with both management and workers. Okay. Now the tripartite and bipartite bodies. Tripartite bodies involve employees, employer and government. Okay. Important tripartite bodies are Indian Labour Conference, Standing Labour Committee, okay, ILC, SLC. Other are Committee on Conventions, Steering Committee on Wages. Just know the names here. Okay. Most important are Indian Labour Conference and Standing Labour Committee. Central Implementation and Evaluation Machinery, Central Boards of Workers Education, National Productivity Council. Bipartite consultative machinery comprises of two parties, viz. Employees and employer. Okay. The important bipartite body is Works Committee. So what is Works Committee? Just know the definition. In a country like India, Works Committee are established through legislation. Okay. They are established through legislation. It has contributed greatly in prevention of industrial disputes to promote industrial goodwill, secure cooperation from employees, employers, provide for a popular agency for supervising and management of nationalized undertaking. It is represented by, okay, you should know this, represented by an equal number of representatives of each party. Okay, that is equal number of representatives of both employer and employees. Okay, equal number, who will constitute the work committee, and the method of their appointment are also laid down in agreements or enactments. Okay. Now the last part, the standing orders, to prevent the industrial conflicts relating to employment conditions. Okay, here standing orders are related to employment conditions. Standing orders are formulated. It was made obligatory that standing orders should govern the conditions of employment under the conditions of employment under Industrial Employment Act 1946. Okay, just know the reason. Okay, that is, it is related to employment conditions. Your match the following questions can always be given like this: employment conditions, standing orders. Okay, the standing orders regulate the conditions of employment from the stage of entry to the stage of exit or retirement. Okay, it is acts as a code of conduct for the employees during the working life of employees, as they provide do's and don'ts. So this is the end of this video. So thanks for watching. Please do like, comment and subscribe to this channel for more updates. Okay, and my email ID is given in the description box. Do comment if you want some specific videos on some specific topics. Okay, thank you, stay safe, take care of your family.